Hello and welcome to a review on the first 3 official practice games. It is George from Fantasy Take TV. I got WORPEL just in there who we'll speak about first. But yeah, watched all 3 games. Very much enjoyed it. I hope you guys are enjoying footy being back. And I think today, for me, maybe I'm a bit reactionary. Well, I am, but threw a few curveballs today, or got thrown a few curveballs today rather. And yeah, excited to discuss them. The Hawthorn versus Collingwood game, Port versus Fremantle, and Geelong versus, who did they play? Brisbane. Brisbane looked very, very sharp, very good. So we'll get into those, but I think we'll start off with Hawthorn versus Collingwood. And Hawthorn looked alright here. They started, it looked like they were going to get hammered early, but played alright. So we'll start off with the Hawthorn players. So yeah, made a few changes to my team after this game. Should I be doing that? Probably not, but here we are. So the first player I'll discuss is WORPEL. So WORPEL's preseason, we've heard some good things. We've heard he's back to his best. He's super fit, injury free. We've also heard that in training reports in last game, his kicking was awful, and you know they're trying young Mackenzie. I forget his first name, but young Mackenzie in the midfield as well. Bit more of Will Day in the midfield. Still got Ward there. You got Newcomb. All these plays that can go through there. Was WORPEL out of favour? I think he was best on today, just about. His kicking was still a bit of an issue today. He did slam on the boot, but he had 30 touches. I mean, that's very, very hard to ignore. And his time on ground, I don't think was super high either. I think it was in the 60s for some reason. But they did play 26 plays, I think, so more plays rotating. But yeah, he was really, really good overall. I think his ability to find the ball and win it at clearance was outstanding. And yeah, it's the best I've seen him play since 2019, I want to say. So he looked fantastic. And yeah, at the price, he needs to go 90. And I think he can do it. He just needs to continue getting mid opportunity, which I think he will, and I think they need him in there. So yeah, after that performance, it's hard for me to see him not starting in that first centre bounce. Although I think the first centre bounce of today, I think he didn't start in it, and then he went in straight after. They started Nash, I think, which was odd. Don't know why they're persisting with that, but yeah, after today, I think he's going to be a top 2, top 3 CBA mid, but we'll see, I guess. So yeah, I'm highly considering James WORPEL. Because last week my assessment on WORPEL was his kicking was horrific, but his ball winning ability, or his work at stoppages, I still thought it was fine. I thought it was good, but yeah, today he just looked fantastic. So I think the next one I'll go Will Day. I think he's too versatile. Starts on the wing a lot. Can go half back, could probably even start at half forward. He looked alright. I think he's less the in and under guy and more the guy that receives it. But he looked okay. So I just think he's a bit too expensive for me. So CBAs were still good, but yeah, a bit too versatile for my liking. I can see days where his CBAs are low, plays elsewhere, but yeah, that was just my assessment on him. Dylan Moore was taken off at half time, I believe. But even without the CBAs, he looked incredible. He was probably best on till half time. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. But I guess when you're not getting CBAs, it's always going to be a bit suspect because you miss out on those tackles and whatnot. So, not one I'll start, but man, he looked fantastic. And then I have 2 more names here. I have Cam Mackenzie. So last week he had the cork to the hamstring or quad, I forgot which one. And today he was very, very good. He got 77% CBAs, I believe. I don't think it'll be that high every week. Maybe WORPEL's goes up a little bit. Maybe a few others as well, Ward as well. So, but yeah, he was quite good. He looked much more composed than Ward did last year. So was able to find space, use it okay. So I think you could get him on field. 24 touches in a game in juniors he had. I think I'm probably going to end up with him on the mid bench, even though it's expensive. I'm pretty worried that we don't get a single mid rookie, and we might have to DPP a few in from defense or something. So he's one I'm actually keen to get in now because I think he can make decent money and he'll get midfield opportunity and he just looks composed in there. So yeah, he played quite good. I think he's would have almost turned up, I think. So yeah, it's when you're a first year player, it's always going to be hard to be consistent. There'll be some good scores, there'll be some bad scores most likely, but yeah, he looked good and he'll make decent money. I think we can get 150k out of him based on today in junior numbers. Last one, I'll stop talking about Connor McDonald, but yeah, only the 4 CBAs today. They're developing him. I don't know, he seems a good forward, but yeah, don't want him in the midfield much. But when he did go in the midfield, he got his hands on it like he did last year. So maybe for another year when they make him, give him more mid time. But yeah, anyway, so we'll go to Collingwood, and this is a hard one. We'll speak about Nick Dacos again. Yeah, Nick didn't have his best game, but he got hard tagged by Finn McGuinness in the first half. Got thrown in CBAs 1 or 2, and just got, I think he lined up on Newcomb, and Newcomb basically just pushed him out of the way. So I don't know how much you can take from that. After this game, his ownership will definitely drop, but he did get tagged, so it's hard to get a true reflection on what we're going to get from Dacos. He's definitely beefed up a little bit, but he's going to cop a lot of attention throughout the year. And yeah, for him, the ball that he got was a few kick-ins and a few running around the backs. He just had to work incredibly hard for his touches. But when you're tagged by Finn McGuinness, that's what happens. So yeah, I'm pretty discouraged because I haven't really got a good look at him. I haven't seen him perform really well in the midfield, which is what we're hoping for. And it might happen early. But they do have a lot of names to go through there. They got Adams, DeGoey, Pendlebury can go through there, Tom Mitchell. I'm probably missing someone as well, Jack Crisp. So there's a lot of names to go through that midfield. So I think maybe more defense for him. And not a whole lot of upside if he's playing there. Maybe a few points, but it's going to be harder to push 100 in that role. I'm not sure. I think I prefer him out the team, but I'd need to think about it at the moment. So yeah, I don't know. We'll discuss on the podcast and we'll have some good discussion. Tom Mitchell, he had less than 100 meters gained, but he looked a lot better than last week. It's a no from me though. His job is not to get all that uncontested ball that he relied on in the past. So yeah, inside game was good, but yeah, a bit older now. I think he'll definitely clear 100 average, but can he go 110? I don't think so. So I'm betting against that. The next one was Darcy Cameron, so still more ruck time for Cox, but coming off the hamstring, it's still a no from me, but I think he scored a 90, so it was actually alright. Had a presence around the ground. It's still a no from me. Just the ruck split makes me uncomfortable, and the injury in the preseason. So it's a no from me, but I can see him averaging 90 this year. Moving on to Fremantle. Now, I think in half our Discord, if not more, has moved to Sean Darcy. So it's important to note that Luke Jackson was not rucking today. He was out, and Darcy had 75%. So I still see Darcy as the number one ruck because they can kind of play Jackson anywhere. I'm not exactly sure on their plans for him, but Darcy still had majority ruck with Jackson in the team last week, I think, if memory serves me correctly. Yeah, because he had the concussion, I think, from Jackson. I think, something like that. So he was really good. He dominated Lysette, made him look a fool. Yeah, good around the ground, just tap work, just playing bully ball in there, a bit like what he did to Riley O'Brien. So he's looking a bit more like 2021 Shrek than 2022, where he had all those interruptions leading into round 1. So this is an interesting one, and I was off him for durability purposes, but now his upside looks decent now, whereas I wasn't too sure with Luke Jackson, but yeah, I'm still not really sure, and the durability is always going to be an issue, but he looked very good, really insanely good, and there's going to be a few 150 pluses from him this year. So yeah, I prefer Darcy to English, that's for sure. But I want to see how Wits goes because I thought Wits looked fantastic in the preseason game, but now we have a guy with a high ceiling available, but a bit cheaper as well. So yeah, something to think about. Next player I have is, I don't think we learned anything from Brayshaw today. He was solid. I think he had a really poor ratio. He was playing a bit further away from at stoppage, but less in and under stuff. It's more left to, like that's more left to Sarong and Brody anyway. But yeah, not much to take out of this game. I don't love him as a starting pick because I think he's better suited to other formats. Not a high contested ball winner, so gonna have a few down games and the tag target. Hayden Young, people might be considering. I thought he looked terrible again today. It was a bit better than last week, but I don't know, just doesn't look super mobile. I thought Jordan Clark was the one that was really hungry for the ball, much more than Hayden Young. So it's a no for me. I still think he can come good. The preseason stuff was really good, and the more kick-ins probably will happen, but it's a no for me. I needed to see something significant this preseason, and I haven't seen it, so still can work, but not for me. Sam Sturt was okay, but they had a few players out. 8 touches, 2 goals, bit of half forward, I think. I had to ask the Discord on this one because I didn't really monitor his game too much. So yeah, might be one, not one I'd filled for sure, but yeah. Also, I missed Fergus Green from the other game. He was fantastic. He could have kicked 6 goals, so lock him in on your bench. But yeah, when you're a tall forward, he's more like your third tall, I think. Yeah, there'll be some tons, I think, but there'll also be some poor scores. So yeah, lock him in on your bench. He's my favourite F7 for sure. I think everyone would probably, I think that's a consensus anyway. And the other one was 5, so played forward, played really well. It's alright at ground level, was good in the air as well. So he looks like a forward now, like a good one instead of like a midfielder turned forward. He looks like a genuine forward. So I thought he was good. He can probably do somewhere in the 80s, but that's not for me. I prefer inside mid roll. So it's a pass. Onto Port. So Rosie, I thought he started slow but worked into the game. But yeah, I think he's locked in for me. He's done enough. So he was very good. CBAs were good. Butters. Chuck him in the midfield because I've got more room there. But Butters didn't get a whole lot of CBAs, so that's a bit of a worry. Maybe they were just protecting his AC joint. But yeah, I think Horn Francis is going to get a lot of mid-time. And then Boak might get a little bit as well. He was out today, so yeah, it's a no for me for Butters, but I think he'll do it. He'll have a good year. I think he can go 100 still, but again, not 100% sure on the CBAs, and the durability is always a concern with him. The next one is Horn Francis. I thought he was okay. Gave away 6 frees. Spell Horn Francis with a J. Yeah, he was pretty good. I haven't checked the CBAs, but it would have been alright. It was around the ball a lot. I think interrupted preseason for me, and I don't know, maybe that up Butters CBAs and Boak. Although I think Boak will be more half forward this year, so yeah, I don't have the best read on this pick, to be honest, and he's very expensive, $350. I prefer to save a bit of money on your WORPEL or your Tanner Bruin, which we'll get to after. So yeah, honestly, I don't have the best read on this one, but if you're high on him, I think this game would have made you happy, put it that way. Another one is Lysette. So if you had Lysette, you're probably glad that you got to see this game, so you can take him out. He wasn't great, and yeah, I think you're wasting your time with a 430k player here when you can just get a keeper for a little bit more, 150 to 200 more, basically, in Darcy or English or Wits or whoever floats your boat. So I think you're wasting your time here. It's a no from me, but yeah, if it was against a different opposition, he might have done a bit better, but yeah, I wouldn't, not my cup of tea. And Teakle came on late. Yeah, I don't know what their plans are with that. They can always use Dixon more in the ruck, always use Finlayson more in the ruck when he comes in. So it's a no from me. And now we'll move on to Geelong. Oh boy, we need to talk about young Tanner Bruin. I threw Tanner Bruin in the team pretty quick. So it's worth noting that he played a majority inside mid-roll. In the last 10 minutes, they threw him on the wing. And it's very hard to score on the wing. So his fourth quarter was his worst out of the lot. But yeah, it was like a genuine wing roll where, you know, if there's a throw in, Tanner's on the other side of the ground, basically, or in the middle of the ground, just hanging off the ball, which is just terrible for scoring. But other than that, he turned up. I think he's turned up twice in a row. I think he's going to be a top 3 mid for them. It's hard to see him not. And the thing I love about watching him play is he's like a genuine inside, you know, in and under, contested ball tackles, dishing it out, dives on the ball, also spreads really well. Geelong pulled off some sort of heist in this off season. Yeah, GWS is not going to be happy watching him play, I think, for years to come. He's fantastic. So yeah, he's in for me at this point, just because I think we're struggling to find options to field in the forward line. You know, you got your keepers who you might like, and then you got McLean. I've lost a bit of faith in, but I'll still pick him, I think. And Radicalea we'll get to. I'm not sure you want to field Radicalea. But yeah, Tanner was fantastic, and I think he'll get decent CBAs. But is he a keeper? Probably not. So if he's not a keeper at 311k, you don't really need to pick him. But I honestly think he can do 90 in this role. So he looked fantastic, and I think it holds. The only players that were out, I didn't check. I know Danger got a bit of mid-time, but I think he'll be managed throughout the year, and I think they will give some rotations to Jack Bowes like they did. So yeah, again, the Geelong way is got to be versatile, unfortunately, for fantasy purposes. So yeah, I can see the role being not great sometimes, but I don't want to say he's their best mid at the moment, but he's looked like the past 2 weeks. Obviously, Danger is their best, but it's not. He won't be at his best every week. Radicalea is the next one. So I guess the problem with Radicalea is, you know, he took 2 contested marks, and I don't think he even scored 50. So yeah, that's his strength, marking. But if the intercepts don't come, and they got a lot of supply today, he's not going to score because he's a key defender. He's not going to look for the ball. He's not going to ask for the ball. And yeah, the ball has to come to him instead of him seeking for the ball. So and you're not always going to be around the ball when you're in defense. So yeah, I'd love to get him to F7 at this point, but I don't know how. I'll need to figure something out if I can, just for the ruck cover. If he was not a ruck, then I would not be touching him. But because he's ruck eligible, you never know, that cover might help you save 50 points or something in the early rounds. So that's the only reason why I'm still considering him. Yeah, ownership's gone up a lot, 25%. Would have been probably sub 10% a few weeks ago. But yeah, I think he'll average 55 to low 60s, something like that. He'll have his days where he takes a few marks, but yeah, he'll have a terrible floor. So I'm sort of hesitant to field him, but I still think he's not the absolute worst field option. I'm still thinking about it, but I would very much like to get him off the field. Another one is Tom Stewart. I think he was just cruising. It's worth noting that I think Duncan will play down back, and while Duncan won't be there round 1, I think it's possible that he takes a little bit away from Stewart in terms of kick-ins and whatnot. So I think Stu's a fine starting pick. He looks fantastic for preseason. We'll move on to the Lions. So up forward, Josh Dunkley, big lock. Big lock. And that's all I'll say about that. He's going to have a fantastic year. And it wouldn't surprise me if he pushes 125, 130. Lachie Neale was very solid. Just a standard Lachie Neale game. Nothing to say. Ashcroft, I don't know how. Like, only injury is stopping him from losing the Rising Star this year. He's just ready-made. He doesn't do the flashy stuff from what I've seen, but he just gets it done. Clearances around the ground pretty good as well. So he exits from stoppage really well. So I'm a big fan of Ashcroft, but we'll all have him, so it won't matter. And then the 2 rookies, Wilmot. Wilmot was okay. A wing role. I saw him get a bit of ball down back, so I think he rotated a bit at half back. But this is not a great role, and yeah, I think Dunstall was critical of his defending for briefly because he didn't guard space or something like that. Made an error, but nothing to worry about there. Just a rookie, a young player trying to find his way, but he was okay, and I think there's a spot for him because I think Sharp. I think I've got this. I use this Dream Team stats, but where is it? I think Sharp and Sharp didn't get much game time. Tunstall played a fair bit, so I think he's ahead of those guys. Hopefully for our sake, and he's a bench option, not really a field option on a wing, unfortunately. But the other one is McKenna. So McKenna, he scored not that great. Can't afford him. Get rid of Ashcroft. His scoring wasn't that great, but he looked miles better. He used it far better today. Hit a few darts, went for a few runs. He's not one that actively demands the football. Like he took a few. I think he took 1 or 2 uncontested marks or something. Maybe a bit more. I did see that a little bit, but yeah, he doesn't really demand like other halfbacks. And they got, I think Rayner went down there at the start of the game. Still got Coleman back there. Still got Rich. There's a lot of names there, so I do fear that he's a sub risk for sure. Like he's almost perfect to bring on in the third quarter, get a bit of energy into the game. So I'm a little bit worried about that. But I think he's in the 23. It's just, is he in the 22? I'm not sure. So if he plays round 1, I'll still field him. But yeah, I think was dusting off the cobwebs last week and looked much better despite only scoring a 50-odd this week. So I'll still pick McKenna if he's there round 1. It's one to monitor. So that's the video. And in terms of changes I made to the team, it's just a mess at the moment. I've got like 150k extra on the bench. So I think we're in a bit of trouble for midfield rookies. Not sure we get Noah Long. Not sure we get Alwyn Davey. Not sure we get Oscar Baker. Darcy Jones was on my watch list. He's injured apparently. Has been injured for weeks. I didn't even know that. So they got 3 small forward injuries at the Giants. I don't know who the hell they're playing there. But yeah, I want to get WORPEL in. I'll probably pick Tanner Bruin, and I want to drop Dacos, and then I want to get Cam McKenzie as well. But look, it might be a bit reactionary, but you look at the roles, high CBAs for very cheap players, and then Dacos didn't really get the CBAs, which is where the upside I thought was. There's a lot of names to go through there, so yeah, we'll cop attention heaps this year. So that's. I've seen people call him traps. Could be. I don't think he'll go under 90, but I'm not sure he hits 100. Bit unsure. But anyway, that's the video. Let me know what you think and what you liked from these games, or if you have any questions, I'll try and answer them. But yeah, should be good. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.